friends, to this session on Unleash the Leader Within. So this is the concluding session, and before this we had 3 sessions on Unleash the Leader Within. So this whole session is about knowing what is a leader, and what are the qualities that a leader has, and what are the potentials within us, which are the hidden potentials which normally doesn't come out, and if you unleash them, how do you become a leader, and if you're already a leader, how you can be a better leader than what you have been till now. So this is for those participants who have joined today, we'll have a quick recap of the previous sessions. So thank you very much again for being here. I'm despite of this weather outside and the conditions, I'm grateful to you that you have reached in time and then you're attending this session. Thank you very much. So to summarize the session 1, okay, so the session 1 we had about one of the qualities which was about a situation leader. This was a type of leadership wherein, okay, there was an incident, and how in that situation a person rose up to an occasion, and it was not like that he was a designated leader. He was actually a small boy who took a decision, and he took action, and he started moving the tree, which was very huge. It was not possible for him to move the tree at all. It was so huge. But as he took the action, people joined him, and he had followers, and with the help of the whole team, he was able to move it. And that was an example that we had. So to be a leader, it's not that you need to be qualified. Okay, all that you need to be is that you have to take initiative, you have to be responsible, and there are certain qualities which I will share as we go ahead with the presentation. So we had sessions on understanding leadership, what are the things required, and in this we had the case of Shri Abdul Kalam ji and his boss Satish Dhawan. So how leaders take the ownership of failures, and when it comes to success, how they actually give it to their team members was a beautiful example that Abdul Kalam ji had shared, which was in his experience of working with the ISRO as a project director. So then we had seen the various types of leadership, which was the autocratic one, the democratic type, the functional leadership. Okay, so these are the things. And also we shared about like leaders like Dhirubhai Ambani, like Amitabh Bachchan, Dashrath Manji, and even Mahatma Gandhi. All these people in their personal lives, they had failures. So it's not that success always comes into your path. So there are failures which come, and people learn from their failures, and that's how they become great leaders. So we had gone through some examples of these leaders and how they achieved great heights. So that's what we had shared. And second session was on characteristics of a leader and certain leadership skills. So a leader needs the ability, confidence within him to go ahead, achieve his great goals. He has a vision, mission, and then he always moves with those vision, mission, and people follow him because they're inspired to follow, because he actually inspires them. He actually takes them on the path. He's connecting to them. He's communicating to them all the time. Okay, and he's totally ego-free. Okay, he moves the path and makes the people and takes the people along with him. So he knows the way, he shows the way, and then he takes them through the journey of achieving big goals. So we also had shared the perspective of leadership. The perspective of leadership, maybe we took an example of a corporate wherein case studies of employee who does not get a promotion, and then why he does not get a promotion, the boss demonstrates it. So we'll not be recapping that whole example right now, but it was an entire perspective where entire thing came up, why a person deserves to be promoted. So that came out in our so these videos are available in our Mars Training Academy channel on YouTube. It's as session 1, session 2, session 3. So participants can go much more into detail into that. And then we had the 5 levels of leadership with John Maxwell has beautifully brought it out in his book. So these levels were basically the one which the lowest level is of the position, which is level 1, wherein okay he gets a position okay when he joins an organization. So people do not know much about the leader. So the leader has to actually do certain things by which the people know much more about him. The second level is permission, wherein he builds relationship. He does something, so people come closer to him. And third level is the production, wherein he is demonstrated by doing something to the organization. तो उन्होंने ऐसा कुछ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए किया है जो लोग उनके साथ में और जुड़ना चाहते हैं. Then there is a people develop. Here he actually touches the lives of the people, helps them grow. The subordinates, they actually grow along with the leader. They go to next level. They take more responsibilities, and that's where the connect increases more. And the level 5 is a pinnacle where the leader actually completes the whole thing and he goes to another task. But the followers, they grow in their own roles and they take up certain positions in their own organizations, so that the leader grows, he goes up, he becomes known within the organization, within the group, within the industry probably. And he is at such a level where other things happens without his presence. So the true test is when a leader is not there, if the other things are happening properly. So that's a true test of leadership. Otherwise, it's purely depending, like everybody goes to the leader or boss and ask him for certain permission, whether I should do it, not do it, ye karu, wo nahi karu, ye theek rahega, nahi theek rahega. So that's the level wherein okay he has reached the pinnacle. So we also shared about why people follow the leader. At the first level, people follow because they have to. The second is where they want to. They're really interested. And the third level is because of something the leader has done to the organization. ऐसे कुछ कर दिखाया है. People want to really follow him and they believe in him more. And the next level is people follow him because what you have done to them. The level 5 is what you are and what you represent. Okay. Next, we had touched upon certain characteristics of leadership: integrity, influence, courage, ability to delegate, and there's a whole process of delegation, of how a delegation can be done. And certain things which a leader wants to give it to his person, so that he is away from that thing, but the delegated person who he takes the responsibility in. But before that, he tests the whole thing, and there's a process which is put in place. And then empathy, gratitude, and respect. So the respect is one of the foundation of it. You give respect, you get respect. Okay. If you treat the people in a harsh way, you will not get respect. So we had case studies of each of these things, and then we went ahead. So this was in session 2. Session 3, we started with a classic example in the COVID times, how great leaders demonstrate their leadership abilities. So the case of the Asian Paints MD, Amit Singhal, where he has done something which is exceptional and it will be remembered in the history of business. Okay, in COVID times where people have been losing jobs, people have been getting pink slips or there is a wage cut. Okay, this leader increased the salaries of his employees. Why? Because he had trust in them, he wanted to retain them, and he wanted to keep them away from the psychological stress that whether my job will be there or not. He said, I believe in you, and that's why I'm giving you this. And we are going to work together, and you will contribute and give more results to the organization. So this is a true sign of leadership. And not only to his employees, he also ensured that the contractors who are working with him, they are paid in time, and he also gifted them with some sanitizers with the company manufacturers. Sanitizers is one of the things which is the need of the day, wherein you can keep yourself hygiene. So that's what so that was the example that we started with. And then we had a transformational leadership case, wherein okay, how the leader has a vision, mission, and how he goes ahead with it. And we had session on reviewing the performance of a leader. And a true leader is one who is able to lead himself. Okay, one can lead himself better, and he can lead. One who can lead himself better can lead others well. A person who's always in a mode of fear, greed, anxiety, or insecurity, he will not be. So once you recognize those inabilities and work upon them, eliminate them, your chances of growing as a leader are more successful. So then we did a SWOT analysis, how one can assess his strengths, weaknesses, and work on them. So this was on the session 3. And today is a concluding session. So we'll be doing the deciphering of the leadership code. So there is a lot of things which are built in the word leadership itself. So we are going to see what is there. Some which are already we have already spoken about. We'll refresh on them, and some which will be new. We'll touch upon those today, and how you can unleash and grow is what we are going to do. So friends, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Great. So hope my voice is audible and Hindi English is comfortable with all of our friends.
Yes, perfect.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great.
Anything is okay.
Okay. So to start with, I want to start with a small incident that happened in this heavy monsoon. Okay. It so happened that it was pouring down heavily and very heavily, and there was waterlogging all around. And there was an old man standing at one of the corners of the road. And with his stick, he was trying to, a small stream attached to it, and he was trying to do some fishing. So another gentleman was just walking past by. And he asked, "What are you doing here?" So he said, "I am fishing." He said, it's heavily raining and you are drenched. आप पूरे भीग गए हो. आप इसमें कहाँ fishing कर रहे हो? So this man was actually in a mood of going into a small bar and having a drink. Okay. So इन्होंने कहा आप भी चलिए हमारे साथ में. I'll take care of you. So he took him inside and made him comfortable, offered him a glass of a small peg of a drink, and then asked him, "You have been doing this for a quite long time. I've been seeing you. How many fishes have you been able to catch?" So this old man said, "You are the 8th." So that was to start with the humor. Okay. So in this time of Corona, so we are most of us are a little bit stressed. So I said, let me start my session today with a small humor. Okay. During the last session, there was a question that had come up that how do we know what is servant leadership, and is it something that we have been talking about? Is there servant leadership practice in India? So we said, okay, we'll cover this in the next session, and that's what I thought that today I will take it up. So friends, servant leadership is something which we cannot say it is very new also. It has been existent for ages, and you can say it was maybe before the times of Jesus, and also it's very old, but bringing it into the corporate lives is something which has been initiated now. And servant leadership is started, some organizations have started practicing. So we'll go through that. What is servant leadership, how it came up, and then how corporates are using this servant leadership today, and how it is beneficial to all. So friends, servant leadership is a leadership philosophy in which the main goal of the leader is to serve. It is to serve the people. So traditionally, we must be seeing leaders in a very high position. Okay, maybe he's a CEO, he's a chairman, and then he gives directions to the people, and then people are in various designations. Okay, maybe a director or maybe vice president or a AVP, and then so on. So that hierarchy continues. Here, the other people who are actually down the line, they serve the leader, they serve the organization. But servant leadership is exactly the reverse. Here, where the leader himself is, his main intention is to serve the people, work with the people, and at the same time achieve the vision, mission, and all that is required to be achieved. So here, the concept is I serve because I am a leader, and I am a leader because I serve. It's a very profound statement that, okay, I am serving you because I am a leader, okay, and I'm bound to be a leader and I'm bound to serve you. Okay. So if others are serving, if serving others is below you, then leadership is really beyond you. Okay. It's a very profound statement. So servant leadership existed from Jesus' time. So Jesus, even it is quoted in the Bible, okay, how he served his disciples, but yet he was a leader. Okay. The Last Supper, people would remember about it, wherein okay, there is a ritual of washing the feet of the people. Okay, and that point of time, there was a person who was actually supposed to do the ritual, and he did not do it. And at this point of time, Jesus himself took the responsibility and he did that task of cleaning each and every person's feet who were there for the dinner at the table. So he says that it begins from me, and if I'm not there, you people who are my disciples, you should also follow the same thing when you get the opportunity. So he seeks opportunities of how to serve the people and be along them and be an example. Also, during the Mahabharata, so this is a beautiful image of Krishna giving the advices to Arjuna. Okay. So, although Krishna was a leader, but he actually was practicing the servant leadership at that point of time. So it was there ages back, okay, but more for the society, and now it is more for the society as well as it has been started using at corporates. So we'll go to that in the coming slides. So some examples of servant leadership: Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela. If you see, these people have devoted their entire lives for the service of mankind. They never thought something about themselves. 100% of the time and energy, they always gave it to the society or people at large. When it comes to the corporate, some examples of servant leadership. The first gentleman is Narayan Murthy, the chairman of Infosys. So he started practicing this in his organization, built people, developed leaders, worked along with them, and right from a small garage to one of the top CMM5 level company across the globe. He brought it at such a level, but he still practiced that, working with the people, helping people, making them grow. Okay. So that was what he demonstrated. And then also, you must remember Nandan Nilekani. Nandan Nilekani was one of the person who was groomed by Narayan Murthy to reach that level, and see where he has reached. He has been functioning independently today, and he has taken bigger responsibilities. And second one is of Sir Ratan Tata, who was the chairman of the Tata Group. So exemplary demonstrations of leadership shown within the group to bring that organization to such a level. And if we had not done this by working together, the Tata's growth would have not been as it has been today. And then today he runs so many NGOs, okay, and so much of his contribution, whatever he has earned, he's actually sharing not only the earning but also his time in going, meeting people, and showing them a direction. The third gentleman is Azim Premji. He was the chairman of Wipro, and who doesn't remember his own chauffeur is also is also a crorepati. Exemplary examples of leadership shown by these three gentlemen. So these are true leaders who have demonstrated servant leadership. So these are the cases which I picked up for. There are many more. There are organizations who are practicing servant leadership, like you can say Hindustan Liver. There are some. There's a mix. Okay. There are some organizations who say we don't want any designation to be printed on the visiting cards of any of the executives. They'll be just names. And everyone is a leader and everybody knows the vision, mission of the company, and everybody will work towards achieving the vision and mission. So there's no designation that will come in play. So this is an example of traditional leadership wherein the leader is at the top, okay, and then there is a management in between, and the employees, and then the customer. So what was found, see, the person who actually invented or brought in this model was the person who actually brought in this was Robert Greenleaf. Robert Greenleaf, during 1970, he wrote in an essay of what is servant leadership and how it will be important. So he felt that in this model of traditional leadership, wherein if the customer is to be served, okay, there are so many channels through which a person has to go through. Okay, the customer doesn't get anything directly, and everything is followed what is there in an SOP of an organization. Okay, so there are many cases where the boss says, no, this cannot be done. I cannot approve this. We cannot give this to the customer. The customer has to follow our protocols rather than we following the customer protocols. Okay. So he felt that if it is the other way, if the leader is, the entire model is reversed. The leader is at the bottom and the customer is at the top. Okay, and everything that the customer wants, needs, what are his preferences, that is understood, then the growth of our organization becomes smooth. Secondly, if you work with the employees, okay, employees growth is the focus. Okay, employees grow, they are a part of the community, and then the entire thing changes. Okay, so this is what was actually brought up by Greenleaf in his essay in 1970, and then he actually implemented it in the organization that he was working, that was AT&T. Okay, and then it was a great success. The organization was in the subsequent years, from the profit growth, dynamically improved. Okay, people started getting more time for themselves. People started growing in their own. They had time to interact with their own bosses, their own leaders. Okay, it's not that, okay, he's the boss and I cannot go and speak to him. There was openness. Secondly, there is something in for the growth of the employee. That's why he's doing. And then he worked more. Okay, he never restricted himself. And then he was like an unleashed person of doing everything for the organization, and that brought in more results. So AT&T was the first organization where this was started. And then later on, many organizations follow it. And still there are some organizations that are joining the band. So some of the traits of servant leadership. Now, this is not totally different from what we have been speaking in our sessions about the various traits that a leader need to possess. So we touched upon these, but here the more focus is on the employee and employee's growth, so that the focus is on the employee. So empathy, the listening part, the healing. Like listening, you listen to the person and give your 100% and listen, so that he also has that respect for you and gets what he wants to say, what you want to say. And then the last point of building your community. So here the leader lives back of building a community. So this is something unique wherein he creates a group so that people, even in his absence, they interact. Okay, when he leaves the organization or when he is no more, that model still remains. There is a community which actually works towards that. They interact, they share the knowledge, and then they help the others grow. And there is a commitment towards the growth of the people. So this is something which I thought these are the traits of servant leadership. So now the main point for our session today is about the leadership, the deciphering the leadership code. Okay. Here, what the thought behind this? What the leadership word itself triggers certain qualities and behaviors of the leader, which I want to bring in front of you. So the first letter of the word leadership is L. So L triggers that leader is a listener, he's a learner, and he's a learner leader. Okay, every time he learns something new, he implements something new, he shares whatever he has learned. E is for energy. He always carries the energy with him. He engages with the people, and there's a continuous engagement that is towards achieving the vision and mission. A stands for action, always action oriented, appreciation for people for doing their jobs the best, and accepting people and the situation as they are. D is for delegation and discipline. So he believes that everything is not to be kept with himself. So there is a delegation that is needed. Otherwise, he'll be overburdened with the things that he's doing. And discipline. Discipline with respect to probably attending to work or leaving the office or a particular methodology that is to be followed. So he sets a discipline, and that's an example that is left behind so that his followers absorb that. He again is, he actually uses empathy. He understands, or he actually steps into the shoes of the person who is impacted, understands from his point of view before telling him something. He empowers people to do certain things, and he's an enabler. He gives the empowerment and enablement to his followers so that they take up the assignments freely. R is responsibility. So he himself takes the responsibility of doing things and also gives responsibility to his team members so that they take up certain responsibility in achieving certain tasks. So S is again self-discipline, solving problems, and self-confidence. H is for being honest and humble. Without these qualities, a person cannot actually be taken as a leader. He has to be honest and humble. He is an initiator of things, or he allows people to initiate things. And integrity, as we had taken as in one of our case studies also, that integrity is something wherein, okay, you have to actually be doing the things even when somebody is not observing you. So when you say something, the case was of a professor telling the students, smoking is a bad habit, and he himself goes out during the break and smokes. So that is actually, which is not integrity. So integrity is something you're doing the things right and doing things right even when somebody is not observing you. And influencing is a quality of a leader where he's continuously influencing the people to do certain things towards achieving the goals. And P comes for patience, persistence, and perseverance. So these three P's are very important as far as the leader is concerned, because without patience, persistence, and perseverance, the goal cannot be achieved at all. So this is what I felt that how each and every alphabet or letter in the word leadership brings out all the qualities and behaviors which a leader has. So when you look at the word itself, you recall that whether this word, whether this quality or behavior is there in me, or is it lacking? How can I develop the quality which is required for a leader? So leadership necessarily does not mean that you have to be leader or you have to be in a position in an organization. Leadership could be in your own social area, in your own
No,
area,
no.
in your own area, or it can be for the society, it can be for the organization. You can be a leader to a small team for a particular cause, for a vision or mission that you are chosen. So there are some other qualities and behaviors also that were listed, which is courage, communication, and inspiring people to do certain things. And negotiation skills, because a leader has to negotiate with people to get certain things done. There could be certain give and certain take, and so that the ultimate goal is accomplished. Trust and team builder. He has to be a team builder as well as a team player. So on certain occasion, he has to actually fold his sleeves and say, "Yes, I'm there to work along with you to solve this problem or achieve this goal." So this is a small quote by Keith Davis, wherein he says, leadership is the ability to persuade others to seek defined objectives enthusiastically. It is the human factor which binds a group together and motivates it towards a goal. So entire thing what we have been actually discussing in our session is coming out in this quote. So your growth as a leader is actually very personal to you, okay? And actually one has to set a path. So how you will reach to the next level, okay? So you have to choose your leadership style. You have to identify the strengths, work on your weaknesses, be fearless, and make your goal to work on yourself. And there is a very wonderful power of nurturing the growth of the team. So if you actually nurture the team, you're absolved of your certain responsibilities, and be there as a team player whenever the team requires you. Otherwise, let them free. It need not be that always monitoring them to do certain things. So this is what says. Then your growth as a leader is also very personal to your journey. So you have to find out how do you want to go, where do you want to go, what are you now, and how are you going to work on your strengths, weaknesses. And it's a continuous discovery by itself of how you can achieve your vision, mission, and improve upon yourself. So if there are certain things which you have to work upon, so you need to work upon that. Maybe you can take the help of a coach, mentor, or some training programs can be attended. There are a number of leadership books which are available, which can be read as a self-help. It can be used for your own improvements. So that's how you can actually improve your. So leadership is a journey. It's not a something that you can achieve it over a short period of time. There are people who have worked on themselves for quite a number of time. It could be years together. It could be years together to achieve their ultimate goal. So it's a journey, and it's ultimately working with the people, communicating with them. So there are different psychologies, different mindset, different energies required, or different psychologies required at different points of time, so that you are able to learn them and then implement them. So where is your destination? So it is for yourself to identify where are you and where do you want to go from now in your personal or professional lives. So friends, this is what I had for today's session. So this was a concluding session. I open it out for questions. So we can be there